And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Expedition Sumatra is about going to the jungle and capturing animals and taking them to a game preserve to help them out. Alright, I gotta quick say that this is not some mean game where we're going and destroying the wildlife. Apparently you're going to capture animals to bring them back to help them and preserve them. So this is a game about capturing animals in the jungle. Now that's a pretty neat theme. And this game actually has some pretty cool theme. Now, there's actually a bit of nastiness in the game as you can steal animals from each other. Not sure that's happening. But it's a game of placement, pickup and delivery, I guess, as you go around an island and get these animals and bring them back and put them on your ship. Beautiful artwork, a really nice looking game, and dare I say it, quite a bit of fun. Let's take a look at it.
First thing I want to talk about was the rule book. It's such a strange rule book. I think that it's a sheet that folds out back and forth. But what you're supposed to do is, if I would look at components, I flip this back and read about the components. If I want to read how to play, I flip that back. If I want to read about moving, I flip it forward. I guess it works. It's just kind of odd, but I thought I would show that. Well, the board itself here, which is a Carcassonne-looking board in a sense, it's a board that's laid out, and on the board are pre-printed movement spaces, and on each of them you place one of these tiles. Now, on a player's turn, they have 4 different actions that they can take. There's 5 actions which are possible to take, but you can take as many actions as you want. You can take the same action 4 times. What are the actions that you can do? One of the actions is flipping a tile. So when you flip a tile, you grab it like this and flip it over any way you want to. And so that will usually reveal things. For example, this tile reveals an orangutan. So I place an orangutan cube on that spot. I can also rotate a tile. This is so that I can match up paths on the board so that I can drive my truck to different spots. Now, another thing you can do is drive your truck. Now, each player has 2 trucks. At the beginning of the game, you'll start with a small truck on your boat, like this. And you'll start with a large truck in the middle of the island. The large truck can carry 2 small animals, the orangutan, the tiger, or the wild deer, or the large truck can carry one of the larger animals, the rhino or the elephant, which are like double cubes. The small truck can carry 2 of the smaller animals, and that's about it. So what you're trying to do, let's say for example, I'll say, okay, I want to get that orangutan, so I'll rotate this one like this, I'll flip this one over. Oh, that's binoculars, so that lets me look at any tile on the island. Then I'll flip this one over. Hooray! I'll rotate it like this, and now my truck can drive down here, pick up the cube, and drive back, and drop off the cube on my ship. Now, at the beginning of the game, each player is given a ship. Now, the ships are made up of puzzle piece parts, so you'll always have a different kind of ship. There's 3 different parts, so you can place different pieces on the ship to build it. But each of these ships requires different animals. For example, this one here wants 2 elephants. This here wants 2 rhinos in the back. This one wants 1 elephant and 3 of any kind in the middle. While this one wants 2 tigers and 2 orangutans. This one wants an elephant, rhino, and an orangutan. This one wants a tiger, and then 2 wilds and an elephant in the middle. Players are trying to complete these orders. For example, when I complete the orders, I'm going to get points for each animal, but also if I complete an entire order, like both orangutans here and both tigers, I'm going to get a bonus of 5 points. You complete the order up here, it's a bonus of 7 points. While completing the animals in the middle, that gives you only a bonus of 3, but each animal place gives you a bonus. So as you collect the animals, you have to decide where you're going to put them to get the bonuses. Back to the board, another action that you can take is to move your ship 1 space. Moving your ship can help get it into position. You can move it forward or backwards. Loading the truck with your animal takes an action. Stealing an animal from another opponent. If someone has an animal in their truck and you go in the same space with your truck, you can spend 2 actions to steal it into yours. Hence the nastiness of the game. So if I steal it from you, that will probably cause a bit of hard feelings. So that's what happens. Each player will take turns, and then after that, depending on where your large truck is, your ship is going to move forward a certain amount of spaces. So as the game progresses, the ships are going to move slowly around the board. Now this matters because when one of the ships has made a complete circuit of the board, the game is over. The player who makes the first circuit of the board is going to get bonus points. So there is some incentive to keep your ship moving, but it's also a timer involved in the game. That's pretty much the whole game. There's a few other things like here's the wild deer. There's only 2 of those tiles. These are worth 5 points by themselves, but they can also be used to fill in as the animal on your ship as a wild animal of any color. So if you need one more tiger and you couldn't get it, this can cover for you. And then there's all different, some of the tiles are just regular, plain old boring tiles in the back. There's different animals. Once an animal is captured, a tile will come off the board, another tile will come on. There's storms like this one, which will push all the tiles in a certain row and can even possibly move ships. But it's basically a game where you're collecting all the little wooden bits, the pieces, coming back and trying to have the highest score. It's a good game. I really like the whole jungle, going to collect the animals off the island theme. My family's a big lover of animals anyway. We love going to our local zoo here. So the theme of going and getting the animals and taking them to the zoo, the kids like that. They weren't so fond of the stealing, although you can pretty much eliminate that from the game if you want, and it's not that big of a deal. There's a lot of forethought, though. Okay, I'm going to rotate this tile, turn this tile, flip this one so I can move my truck up here. But I found out that kids picked up on it pretty quickly. But I think for adults, it will still work out pretty well. It's thematic as you drive your truck through the jungle. I'm not sure what's thematic about rotating the tiles, but at least, I guess in this sense it is, you don't really know the path through the jungle, and you're trying to clear paths through the best you can. And you don't know where the animals are, but once you figure out where they are, you send your truck in to rescue them, hopefully to get there before the other trucks do. Maybe it would have been neater if the little cubes had been little animal-shaped, but I think for the most part, it's a game that seems to have some replayability because you're always going to be collecting different animals. You never know where they're going to be. You're very interested in other players' turns because what they do dramatically affects you. And you have a lot of options. You can move the truck here, rotate it, move your ship. There's just different things going on. And the game takes about 45 minutes to an hour, which is a really good length for this style game. So I'm giving this one 2 thumbs up. It's a good game.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.